Celtic have been drawn against Lask in the Champions League playoff, and the prize money on the line is enormous. We have also got a major update on Arnie Engles with West Ham preparing a third bid, Celtic knocking back a surprise approach for Kieran Tierney, the club making a move for a new goalkeeper, and O'Neill revealing what Callum McGregor told him about his future. Huge morning. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic have been drawn against Austrian champions Lask in the Champions League playoff, setting up two massive legs that could define the entire season. The first leg will take place at Celtic Park on the 18th or 19th of August, with the return fixture in Austria a week later. Whoever goes through will enter the Champions League phase, and the financial stakes could not be higher. Reports suggest qualification alone is worth at least £40 million before any prize money is considered. That is the kind of figure that changes what a club can do in the transfer market and beyond. On paper, Celtic will start as favourites. They were seeded for the draw thanks to their UEFA coefficient, which meant they avoided some of the tougher options that remained in the pot. Lask are no pushovers though. They completed a domestic double in Austria last season, winning both the league title and the Austrian Cup, and they have European experience. They will travel to Glasgow without any fear. The backdrop to these two legs is a Celtic squad still in transition. Casper Høy and Camilo Duran have already come in. Arne Engles and Alistair Johnston are still at the centre of transfer stories. The manager and the support will both know that the squad going into these legs needs to be as strong as possible. Last season's Champions League exit was a genuine low point. O'Neill's side now have the chance to write a very different story. 2 nights under the lights at Celtic Park and then in Austria. Everything is on the line. Now for the main story, as the Arne Engles situation is moving quickly, with West Ham preparing a third bid after seeing 2 previous offers knocked back by Celtic. Engles has emerged as the Championship club's #1 priority this summer. Reports from Friday suggested personal terms between the player and West Ham had already been agreed. O'Neill then confirmed publicly that genuine interest existed, but that the opening offer from the English side fell well short of what Celtic were prepared to accept. Celtic are holding out for a fee of around £25 million, a figure that would shatter the Championship transfer record. West Ham have had 2 bids rejected, but have not walked away. According to the Daily Record, they are expected to return with an improved proposal in the coming days, and there is a growing feeling among those close to the situation that a deal will eventually get done if the right number is put on the table. The other half of this story is what happens next if Engles does leave. Celtic have already been preparing for that scenario. Celtic News reported on Sunday that the club are readying an improved bid of around £5 million for SC Paderborn midfielder Mika Bauer after an opening offer was turned down. Personal terms with Bauer are already agreed, with the transfer fee the only remaining hurdle. Paderborn are publicly confident of keeping him, but Celtic are expected to push again this week. Engles contributed 7 goals and 8 assists in a title-winning season. Replacing that output will not be straightforward. The club knows it, and the urgency around Bauer reflects that. In other news, Celtic have rejected a surprise approach from Spanish side Osasuna for Kieran Tierney and have made clear they have no intention of selling the left back. Tierney returned to Celtic last summer in what was an emotional homecoming after his time at Arsenal. He immediately established himself as one of the first names on O'Neill's team sheet, and his performances have now caught the attention of clubs in La Liga. According to Sunsport, Osasuna made an inquiry about the 29-year-old as they look to add to their squad ahead of the new season. Celtic wasted no time making their position clear. The approach has been rebuffed, and the club will take the same stance if any further interest arrives before the window closes. The context here matters. Celtic are already preparing for the likely departure of Alistair Johnston, who is edging closer to a £15 million move to Everton. Losing both first-choice fullbacks in the same transfer window would be a serious problem for any club, let alone one preparing for a Champions League playoff in 2 weeks. Tierney is going nowhere, and that is the right call. From the player's perspective, there is also little indication he wants to leave. He turned down interest from elsewhere to come back to Parkhead last summer and made no secret of how much the move meant to him. Having fought that hard to return, another exit after just one season was never a realistic possibility. In other news, Martin O'Neill has revealed that Callum McGregor held a positive conversation with Chief Executive Michael Nicholson and personally told the manager he is happy at Celtic and wants to stay. McGregor's future became one of the biggest talking points of the summer after he issued a pointed message to the Celtic hierarchy at the end of last season, warning that the club needed to match his ambition if they wanted to keep progressing. Those comments were interpreted as a warning. Speculation intensified when he then changed agents midway through the summer, moving to the same agency that represents Brendan Rodgers in Saudi Arabia. Some supporters began to wonder whether the 33-year-old was positioning himself for a move. But McGregor has since reiterated his desire to stay at Celtic, and O'Neill has now provided the clearest reassurance yet. The manager said, "He had a good conversation with Michael, the CEO. It didn't need reiterating what we think of him here, his potential, and what he can do. He's got a couple of years left to run on his contract, and he, by all accounts, wants to stay. That's what he said to me. He's happy." The arrivals of Casper Her and Camilo Duran have been welcomed by McGregor as positive steps in the right direction. O'Neill's latest comments only reinforce that message. McGregor is Celtic's captain and one of the most important players at the club. Getting this clarified before the Champions League playoff matters enormously. With him settled, Celtic can focus fully on what comes next. Lastly, Celtic have submitted a formal bid for Croatian goalkeeper Dinko Horkus of UD Las Palmas as the club steps up its search for a replacement for the retired Kasper Schmeichel. According to Sport Witness, Celtic have now tabled an offer for the 27-year-old after months of interest developing behind the scenes. Celtic News had previously reported back in July that Horkus was keen on a move to Parkhead, but at that point no official approach had been made. That has now changed, with the bid formalising Celtic's pursuit. Horkus has built his reputation through spells in Croatia and Spain, eventually earning his place in La Liga with Las Palmas. He fits the profile of a goalkeeper entering the best years of his career and represents a different type of option to what Celtic currently have. Viljami Sinisalo has stepped up since Schmeichel's retirement, but with no real competition behind him aside from Ross Duhan as third choice, the goalkeeping department has looked light heading into a pivotal season, with Celtic Park hosting a Champions League playoff first leg on either the 18th or 19th of August. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.